Hello and welcome to another unboxing video by KZ Unboxes It. Today we're going to be unboxing the Canon EOS Rebel SL2 with the EFS 18-55mm IS-STM lens kit. This is supposedly a really good value kit, which is why I bought it. I managed to score it on Amazon for about $560 Canadian. Now this over here we're going to get to, but first let's start unboxing this sucker. Oh, that's kind of handy. No seal on it, so we don't need this. So a reason I got this camera is to record better videos for you guys. So opening it up, we have the instruction manual. It's in English, French, and Spanish. We have the registration card for warranty purposes. Some info on setting up the wireless capabilities of this camera, which we'll get to in a minute. Looks like just more App Store. And then we just have the limited warranty card. So that looks like all the paperwork in here. So opening up here, we have the charger. Have the battery, of course. Got the lens, it looks like. So this is the 18-55mm lens that Canon makes. Now this camera is able to accept all of Canon's standard lenses from what I understand. Feels like a pretty good build on this. We have our autofocus switch and our stabilizer switch. Dust caps on both sides. Then we have the zoom ring and the focus ring right here. So this is supposed to be a good beginner lens or a good all-around lens to start off with. Obviously a lot of photographers and people in the video arts will have a lot of different lenses for different purposes. But this is a good lens to start with. Got a little camera strap to go with the body. And I'm assuming this is the actual body right here. Looks like a lot of wrapping on this. Alrighty, so here's the body. It's actually a fairly nice matte black finish on it. Now it does feel like plastic, but feels pretty sturdy. Nice thing about this camera is it has an optical viewfinder. I know a few digital cameras have shifted towards just an electronic one. It still does have the screen here. This is a touch screen as well. It flips around. So if you do want to take selfies or anything else that would be handy for, you can do it. We got our camera mount down here. Now another neat thing, which is the reason I bought this camera, is it has a microphone jack and an HDMI jack down here. So you can hook up an external microphone on here if the built-in mic isn't good enough for your purposes. It also does have a pop-up flash, but you can also put an external flash on here. Got your dials for different camera modes. Got another dial over here. I'm assuming that's a quick swap between menus. Not sure yet since I haven't used this. Have your ISO and display settings or buttons for those settings. On/off video mode dial. Of course, your camera strap loop. And some more menu control buttons down here. So moving on over to the front, we have our dust cap right here. So that's where the sensor would be, and that's where the shutter would basically flip once you take a shot. Now, I think a lot of people mention this body is fairly small compared to, let's say, the 7 Rebel. Doesn't feel too bad, but I'm not holding it in a great camera holding position right now. I'd actually have to test this out over the next week or two just to get a better feel for it. But it does feel fairly sturdy. Now let's get this lens on here. So if I'm doing this correctly, I believe you have to push this button right here. You have your electric contacts there, electric contacts down here. Okay, so it clicks on fairly straightforward. So if you're trying to take a picture, you need to zoom in, or if you're doing manual focus, it's actually fairly easy. Now, from what I understand, this does have really good autofocus. Stabilizer is really good on it as well, so this is probably more of a novelty for the average person. But anyway, I don't want to make this video too long because I'm not actually going to be doing any tests right now. The reason I have this out here is I actually got this 15 years ago when I got into photography. This is the Panasonic FZ3 camera. Now, this Canon compared to this Panasonic, we have a 24 megapixel sensor versus a 3.1 megapixel sensor. So huge difference in megapixels. Now, the big thing with this Panasonic back in the day was it had 12x optical zoom with 4x digital zoom, which was garbage, but the optical zoom was nice. Now, this lens was the equivalent of a 35 millimeter lens. So if I know my numbers right, this would zoom in more than this lens will. But there's trade-offs to that. Now, this had an electronic viewfinder. So it had basically little grainy LEDs in there that would show you what you're pointing at. It also had a little display down here. Now, again, I know I said this before, but the reason I had this out is this was about $400 US brand new. This camera currently is about $600 US. So if you adjust these for inflation, this one doesn't cost much more than this one, which kind of shows you the value in cameras these days compared to what you used to be able to get. Now, if you guys are interested in what the image quality looks like compared to this one now, if there's enough interest in that, I'll have to get a new battery for this one because it actually did swell up and it no longer holds a charge. But if that's something everybody's interested in, I will look at tracking one down. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. A little Easter egg, or whatever you want to call this, is once I get this charged up, I'm going to be unboxing this. Bonus points to anyone who can guess what this is. So until that next video, you guys enjoy your day.